We're joined by James in his remap wheelchair. How are you doing, James?
I'm all right, mate. Good to see the main man. How was your holiday?
Right.
All right.
I've had a shit day, so you're just about my type tonight. So if you get
All
on that
right.
way, I'm going to wipe floor with you because you're an easy one.
Right. Do you want me to start talking over you then, so you can let rip?
How you been?
Not bad, mate. I'm getting a bit podgy again, to be honest. I need to get back on a diet. So taking me mum out tomorrow for a meal, and then I'm going to get back on it.
Good man. How you doing?
Yeah.
How's love life doing, James?
Well, this is what I mean. Like, I'm not going to pull the Barnsley birds, am I? With a few extra pounds under me belt. So yeah, the love life's not going too well at the minute, but we'll get back on the horse, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We spoke about George Foreman's death, didn't we?
we did indeed. Yeah,
Now you've had time to reflect on your top five. Is there any change?
no,
No.
no, I'm not doing it because of nostalgia and all that. I really did sit down and properly think about it. Like he was the man, wasn't he, George? I mean, someone who can lift Joe Frazier up in the air with a shot is quite a man. So he deserves his place. Number four.
Yeah, he does. Oh, big old George.
Yep.
Uh, Joshua saying they're saying he's in talks to fight Jake Paul and that he's injured now while September, but it could be Jake Paul. What is that, James? Tell me. Help me,
That's
James. Help me. I'm losing the will to fucking live.
well, I can't help you. Well, it just it's obvious what it is. It just shows he's got no desire left. And he should be wiping the floor with Jake Paul. So he's got no desire left. He wants to make a nice, easy 20, 30 million. And then he might bow out after that because he'll have no credibility, will he? So, it's an obvious if you can get it, it's an obvious payday. But it just shows that he don't desire boxing anymore. And who can blame him after he got smashed by John Coffey?
Yeah. What about the John Coffey silence?
Well, he's not. He's come out now, hasn't he? They've let him out of his room.
Yeah,
He's
but
been
he's
in
playing
his.
show and telling us everything and showing us now.
Yeah, what I found funny about it was he was in the back of a car, wasn't he? He was in the back of his car, I think, front or the back. I don't know because I was listening, but I just kept hearing police sirens, and I thought, like, what's going on there? Is he under armed guard or something? He's been
No,
told like you're
he
only.
just no, mate. He'd just been serving up. So
Yeah,
they were chasing him. He took a chase like Brian Cockrell.
yeah. Oh, don't talk about Brian Cockrell. He's done
Brian
everything that bloke,
Cockrell,
hasn't
what's he up to?
he? I don't know.
He
Hardest
could
man in the
tell a
world.
story and half him, can't he? Big Bry.
He can, he can. I'm absolutely untouchable. Like I was pulling in 20 grand a week. Yeah, he's in a
What
Sierra
about the
Cosworth.
helicopter chase he took in a Mondeo?
Yeah, I know.
P5 Volvos and lot chasing him.
Do you,
Motorway cops on motorbikes, helicopters and like left him for dead in a Mondeo.
do you think John Fury watches his videos and looks up to him?
Well, that's what they do, don't they? Fantasists.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right,
Um,
Del Boy's mandatory for Dubai IBF. What do you think?
he's a joke. I actually find it funny.
You seen it
It's just,
online?
yeah, I've seen it, and I think it's a joke. Me and the commission boys, we were talking about it this afternoon. Well, I wasn't really talking; I was just watching. And we were trying to work out whether that fight with Volin was a final eliminator, and it wasn't. It was just an eliminator. But again, like, what? Why is there any other sport? And this is what I said last night. There's no other sport where if you're in a losing sort of position, you're just going to get these opportunities. You wouldn't see Wrexham playing in the Champions League final against Barcelona because they haven't earned it, have they? They've not played through the stages. They've not won the Premier League. Like, why does it happen in boxing? It's just a joke.
Do you think, James, that people like Joshua and Derek Chisora have had more than enough chances?
Yeah, but the reason why they've had these opportunities is because they cozy up to the establishment, don't they?
Yeah.
Joshua goes on about buy from black businesses and all that. Yet the man who was making all of his money was a white man. And I don't want to make it racial, but Do you know what I mean? He's cozying up to the people at the top. Doesn't matter about your colour and all that, and obviously the opportunities have come, haven't they? So it's and that's why you've got the likes of Jug Ears and Simon Jordan in the positions they're in terms of the sport because they're kissing arse. Ridiculous.
Yeah, we're embarrassing from Spencer Oliver, Juggies, and Super Bean, Adam Smith coming out with that.
Mhm.
Joshua deserves his chance against Parker. What? Coming off of that shallacking.
Yeah,
And another thing, James, why is nobody talking about, well, why is Dubois Parker not on? Because that was supposed to be talked to as the next big fight, wasn't it? Now all of a
exactly.
sudden they've gone in different directions.
Exactly. It's disgusting, but what I do like is on Talk Sport when they did a video last week and they were talking about Joshua getting a world title shot and saying he deserves it and all this and every single comment was like doesn't deserve it, doesn't deserve it, doesn't deserve it. Josie Parker, Josie Parker. And I'm just praying that someone with some common sense reads them and goes, yeah, all right. But this is the problem with Turkey sort of showing his hand
Yeah.
and saying to him now, like, you're not up to anything, you lot, like all these promoters, because now we're just going to get served shit on a plate again. Because I think Turkey's pulled out now and he's doing his own thing. So Frank Warren and Bricktop and Eddie Hills, they've got to stick together and they can just serve up dross again. It's ridiculous.
Do you think Dana and Turkey will last?
As long as Turkey wants it to, yeah. I think Turkey's a ruthless. He's obviously a ruthless bastard. I mean, there's that story's become public knowledge again, hasn't it? About him threatening someone in the royal family. Was it to abdicate or something? But he threatened him with torture and all this. Uh, they showed their true colours again, the Saudis and Dana White. I mean, he's a powerful man, but he's nothing on a government, is he? So as soon as Turkey and these narcissistic people who've got everything on a plate, when they get bored, that's it, isn't it? He'll use Dana as his plaything, and then when he's decided he's had enough, he'll do the same thing to him that he's done with Hills and Bricktop.
Yeah.
So I don't think it will last long term. It will last as long as Dana's useful, and he is useful because he's going to put that league together.
What do you think happened with Bricktop and Eddie Hills and Turkeys? Why they're not his go-to guys no more? Why he didn't firm up with them? What? Because they'll
Well,
feel in their heads they'll feel like they were like his partner, wouldn't they?
yeah, they will, but I think they're not stupid men, are they? You
They're
know
on
what I mean?
outside looking in though, but still singing his praises, aren't they?
Yeah, because they were getting paid a lot of money, weren't they? That's why, like holding his hands and all that. But I said it in the not in the beginning, but when it was all going on, I did say, look, he'll probably have a look at it. He'll have a look at them, and he'll have his own league. Why bother? Why bother sacking him off straight away when you can learn from him? Turkey's a user, but that's because he's a man he's grown up in privilege. Clearly, nobody ever really says no to him. So he's going to be like that, isn't he? And I think the writing was always on the wall for Hills and Bricktop, and that's why I said in the beginning about the league. I didn't think he'd pair up with Dana White, but I did think that once they outlived their usefulness, they would have been gone. And I mentioned that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah. Well, it looks like they're out on their ear, but he's done it with a bit of class, old Turkey, hasn't he? Because they've
Yeah.
had that much out of him, they won't want to bite the hands that fed them, will they?
No, but they're still under his spell. They're still in his pocket because they've got a deal on his own, and the Saudi regime owns 10% of his own.
Yeah,
And I don't want to be Mystic Meg sat here with my crystal balls, you know what I mean? But I do believe that that's a long term project, the design thing. They're going to put the Saudi league in place. They've got Netflix there as a potential, for showing their shows because of TKO. TKO got a contract with WWE to show on Netflix. They've got DAZN there where they're going to be showing boxing. And yeah, boxing's only a drop in the ocean for the Saudis. And eventually, I think they'll end up buying out. We're talking maybe 3, 4 years. I think they'll buy out Len Blavatnik. They'll just say, "Yeah, we'll buy the zone off you," and then they'll make a play for the Premier League. Mission complete. Then they'll
Well,
do
if
what
they get the
Sky have done.
Premier League, they'll start dictating, won't they?
Yeah, well,
Is that right?
boxing. Yeah, it's sorry, Ross. Go on.
Yeah, I'm just saying if they do that, they'll take over, won't they? They've obviously got a lot of money, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do in boxing though because boxing's unregulated. Let's be honest.
Well,
You got the
they've wanted, haven't they? They've got everybody on side. They've even got border control out there, staying in big suites with butlers and that.
well, yeah. I mean, was Scam Jones having Botox before Turkey come on the scene? I don't know. His face has never looked so
What's
good, is
happened to
it?
Sam is one of his other fighters, is it Dan Toward or something? He's just lost. He's
Yeah,
picking up bells lately, isn't he, old Samuel?
he is, isn't he? He is. Again, he's a guy with not much sort of. He just appeared out of nowhere, and you know what I think of people like that. I said it about that Simon Clayton, didn't I? He was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trendsetter.
He was
Yeah,
what?
he was the trendsetter. Just some fat bloke who didn't really have any skills. Worked in Morrison's of a weekend, and suddenly he's padding up with Steve Wood. It's like, who the fuck's this? And then they've all come out of the woodwork, then, haven't they?
Oh, telling you now, mate. Telling you now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. The Crusher situation now. This with Eubank. Where's it? Where's it? Is it going to happen?
Is the fight
All
going to
week?
happen? Yeah, I think it will. There's too much money on the table. Although my conspiratorial mind has gone into overdrive this past couple of days,
Well,
and I've been sat there thinking to myself, like, I don't fully believe this, but my brain does sort of go funny when it comes to boxing because nothing is off the table, is it, in terms of
yeah.
fantastical ideas? I've just sat there and I thought, is there any chance at all that they created this drug situation themselves? All of them. And like, because I was sat there thinking, well, Conor Benn, he just refuses to talk about this dossier. He refuses to actually make any sense with anything he's saying. And if you're really, really sensible, right, why the fuck would you have the fight if you Eubank? Like his dad's even turned around and said you shouldn't take the fight. He's risked his relationship with his dad over having this fight. And I just sit there and I think, is it all scripted? All of
Mm.
it. It just wouldn't surprise me, Ross.
No, I don't think you want to be saying you've been tested for doping. I don't when you look at it. But look,
Yeah,
it's found in the system, and we have what's known as strict liability.
we
So
do indeed.
strict liability, which is in the contract what you sign for, right? And it's in your system. It's your fault. It's in your system. Whether it got there by hook or crook, or whether you've drank somebody else's drink and not your own, it doesn't matter. Everything you put in your lips, you're responsible for. Everything that goes in your mouth. Right, and it's
Yeah,
called strict liability. It's in his system, whether it's injected or through liquid, twice in his system. And they've played show and tell with us, a game of show and tell. They're telling us
scumbags.
everything. But they've
Yeah,
shown us nothing. Where's
no.
the dossier? They've
We're,
run around. They've told that many whoppers. Nobody knows what's what. What they've done, they've like shouted out, drowned out everybody with it, with
yeah,
excuses like Eddie Hills. What he does, press conferences. He just hogs every interview, and
yeah.
you just got to wind him up, let him go, and then he drowns out everybody, and eventually you buy into him.
That's
Well,
why I
this
was.
week drug situation, James. Sorry for
Yeah,
butting. This week drug
that's right.
situation with Conor Benn. It is nothing short of a sporting scandal that's unfolded in front of our eyes. They've even allowed the kid to fight twice while it's been going on.
Well, I mean, that's what's made me think because I fucking hate Conor Ben. I despise him. I've just sat there and I was thinking about it all the other day, and I just thought it's so bloody ridiculous. It's that ridiculous. It almost seems fictional. it almost seems like someone's got in a room and wrote it all down and said, right, this is what we're going to do to make the biggest fight in our eyes, not my eyes, but their eyes, in recent British history. This is what we're going to do. You're going to get done for doping. You don't really have to say much. Nothing's really going to come out in the media because we'll just claim that there's legal problems and all that, and then it'll all culminate in this big thing at Tottenham Hotspur. And I originally thought, and I was thinking to myself, like, if they'd have cooked up this idea, they would have originally thought, oh, it's Wembley. But when they've actually like looked at everything, because Eddie Hills looks at all the comments and he does look at what people are saying. Originally, they would have said, oh, this fight's big enough for Wembley, but it's not even selling out Tottenham, is it? No one gives a shit about it. So, I think if it was all made up and all brewed up and all of this, they've underestimated or they've overestimated how big the fight actually is. I I don't necessarily believe me bullshit. I was just sat there thinking like boxing's so ridiculous. It wouldn't surprise me if it
Well,
all
I
comes
don't
out
believe
later.
that. I think you're talking like you're out your face on drugs.
Well, I've had a beer.
You've had a beer, is that it, James? You're ripping shit up with an Heineken.
Oh yeah, well no, it's instead or unfiltered. But yeah, I don't know. It just the whole thing stinks. I fucking hate it. I won't be watching it live, and I don't care what anybody says. I'll catch the highlights because I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I'm not going to watch the highlights. I'm not watching it live. I'm not giving it my attention firsthand. Definitely not.
We'll watch highlights.
I'll watch the highlights. Yeah, you'll watch the highlights, won't you?
Yeah. Parker
Yeah,
Dubois. Would you still like to see it though? You never give me an answer earlier.
yeah, definitely. I'd like to see it because I think that's what Parker deserves.
What about Dubois Usyk rematch?
No interest in that whatsoever. He got put down with a jab,
I thought it was
and
conclusive that one it that fight, really, to be honest.
yeah,
One
of course it
sided,
was.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a knockout. On paper, it's a knockout, so it's conclusive. We don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
So,
Did you
yeah.
see Paul Smith having a dig at Conor Benn on Talksport?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
What do you think of that?
I don't like Paul Smith that much, but I mean, yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Smiths,
Beatles at boxing.
the Beatles of boxing. Best win amongst all of them is George Groves, the one-armed bandit.
Hmm.
That is it. Oh, and maybe Boatsi, and he's not won a world title.
No, he hasn't.
There you go. Do you think the Jake Paul Joshua fight will happen? They're talking about it, even though they're saying he's injured till September. Joshua would be a laughing stock if he took that, wouldn't he?
No, I don't think he cares though, Russ. He was a laughing stock
Well, they
when,
took Ungano money, didn't they? 20
yeah, yeah,
million?
but
Was it
yeah,
20
but I
million?
sort of something like that, 2030, wasn't it? But I said last when we last spoke, he had to take that to do what Tyson Fury didn't do. He was almost being a bit of a savior for boxing by knocking out Ngannou the way he did. So that was excusable. This isn't excusable. It's absolute rubbish. And if he does take it, he's done. Like boxing for him is done. But at the same time, he was a bit of a laughing stock when he was sat on his ass after Dubois like poleaxed him. So you know, maybe his credibility's already disappeared and the road man can just go and have his last payday. So nothing surprises me.
What with Joshua?
Yeah, well, boxing in general, Ross, like I said, it's just an absolute shit show, really. So nothing
Yeah.
surprises me.
I mean, Anthony Joshua at the moment. Where's he going? Where's he heading? Him, he's like fucking yesterday's
Netflix,
man, isn't he? Last one world title win with Pulev, old man, in 2020. I mean, we're 2025 here, and he's out while September.
yeah.
He's 5 years
Well,
without a decent win, and that was Pulev.
yeah. I mean, he's heading to
Talking
Netflix,
about
isn't
generational great here.
he? No, he's not. In Britain, Tyson Fury, well, he doesn't deserve that mantle. He doesn't deserve that mantle on his CV, really. But he's got more credibility than Joshua. Um, I like the fact that every time like the CVs are mentioned, Hearn just goes, "Oh, he's fought everyone." Yeah, but he's not beaten everyone, is he? Do you know what I mean? You can fight. Derek
Eric
Chisora's fought
Chisora and
everyone.
Paul Smith fought everybody, didn't they?
Well, yeah, exactly, but they've not beaten everybody.
Beating everybody.
And I was talking to the commission lads yesterday in our WhatsApp, and was just saying like nowadays. No, I think I was talking to Jerry actually, and I was just saying nowadays, unfortunately, like boxing is sadly is more about a popularity contest, and that is why Joshua is being talked about as getting a world title shot. It doesn't matter about. I mean, you spoke about it the other week with me, Ross, when you were saying like who's Ern's best fighter. And I said, it's probably Dalton Smith. And he was like, yeah, but he doesn't really make a noise. And I get what you're saying, but like we never look at talent anymore. We just look at who's got the biggest gob.
Go on
And it's
then.
shit.
We'll
Because if
continue this chat. I need a piss, mate. You want to
all
continue
right,
in 2 minutes on
yeah,
part
no
two,
problems.
yeah?
See you in a bit, mate.
See you in a minute. Right, I'm just off to drain the main vein. I'll see you on part two shortly. Don't go away. Go and get yourself a Kool-Aid from the fridge or a can of Stella. Pop, pop, bang.